Hi everyone, I'm Runze from National University of Singapore, Interaction Lab. I'm very excited to present our latest work, PANDALens, to you. This is an AI-assisted tool on the AR smart glasses that help users to document important information in their daily activities like travels. Let's first imagine you are traveling at a natural history museum, surrounded by fascinating exhibits. How would you capture these moments once you find something interesting and want to share them with your family or friends? I usually use my smartphone to take pictures and later organize my thoughts with images for a short travel blog and share it on the social media. Nowadays, more advanced technology can help us streamline this process. For example, users now can use the AI-driven live logging cameras that automatically capture these moments. They can also use the multimodal authoring tools like light snippets to help them to make voice comments when take pictures on their phones, so they can document their feeling during the travel to prevent memory decay afterward. However, this tool has their own limitations. Like the AI-driven camera, it's hard to fully interpret human documentation intention, so it may miss some interesting moments. And the multimodal authoring tool on the smartphone is more like a passive tool, requiring manual effort from the users during the travel and occupies both their hands and eyes, which can distract them from the immersive travel experiences. In addition, for both of these tools require huge post-day editing efforts to make the experience sharing, like writing a blog or Twitter, engaging. So, how can we support high-quality and personalized documentation in users' daily activities like travel with seamless interaction and minimal user efforts? To answer the research question, we introduced PANDALens, a proactive AI narrative documentation assistant on optical see-through head-mounted display, or AR smart glasses. The interaction flow of the PANDALens includes three main stages: moment capture, context analysis in dialogue, and content generation. During the travel, we leverage a mixed initiative method to capture the moments. On the one hand, AI can detect users' movement and the environment to predict interest and offer moment capture suggestions. Users can also maintain control and manually take pictures if needed. In this scenario, the users try to find a good angle to take a picture of the skeleton of a dinosaur, and he tries to use the ring mouse to reframe the photos. We also analyze users' gaze pattern to predict interest if users is looking at something for a long time, but the AI prompt suggestions are delayed until he transits to another sport to prevent distraction to the user's immersive travel experience. Once the user sees the auto-capture moment, he can make comments on it. The AI model will composite contextual information, including voice transcription, image, audio, time, and location, and send them to a large language model to facilitate Q&A in the travel. This enriches user expression, so the final documentation can be more expressive. A moment description is also generated by the large language model and can be updated with the user's answer to these questions. After the travel, PANDALens can generate a list of recorded moments that allow users to select what to incorporate in the blogs. It automatically generates a coherent narrative, utilizes previous contextual information, and tailored to users' writing preferences. The blog can be exported in a doc file to users' computer as well, and enables them to edit it further and share it on any social media platform. Before we developed the system, we first conducted a formative study with 12 participants, recording their natural travel behaviors in a museum or park, and we identified the current documentation challenges and their designed AI assistances. This leads to a design space that how can we utilize multimodal context information to help us to facilitate interaction and content generation. For the details, please refer to our paper. To evaluate the effectiveness of PANDALens, we compare it with light snippets, the smartphone recording software that enable users to capture photos with voice comments. And the system can export images with voice transcription for the users after travel. We also involved 12 participants in this study. They travel with both of these two devices in a local natural history museum for 45 to 60 minutes per device. After the travel, they can check the generate documentation from the two devices, and further edit it if needed. To evaluate the merits of PANDALens, it's not only come from the large language model for proofreading, we allow users to use any AI tools for post-editing for the two devices. The result shows that PANDALens significantly help users to capture more moments and make more comments with details during their travel, and also increase their travel enjoyment. It also significantly increased the writing quality with the reduced editing time. Now, we have several insights that I want to share with you. Like what makes PANDALens effective, and how can we design an in-context documentation assistant? First, PANDALens realizes a tool transformation. As one user mentioned in the interview, she thinks that the PANDALens is very good for solo visitors, as it converts the experience from a passive tool to a more proactive interaction, just like a travel mate. So, the PANDALens builds a better connection between the human and the AI behind to achieve a more engaging travel experience. We have two highlights for this transformation. The first is to proactively provide suggestions and engage in dialogue with users during the travel. And the one paper pointed out the human travel companion helps solo visitors overcome internal constraints like accessibility to information and discovery of interest. Here, PANDALens act in the same role as human companion. For example, when PANDALens finds out the user's interest in a dry leaf, it connects the in-situ experience with users' past stories and asks some questions like, have you done some similar project in your middle school? Which makes the user feel very interested and want to share more information that make their travel blog unique. Second, although PANDALens can provide suggestions during users' travel, our goal is not to create a machine that frequently nudges users to capture more moments and comments. Instead, we aim to design an organic experience of interaction, especially given that AI nowadays can make some mistakes, which leads to distraction to users. So, we adopt several strategies to mitigate these issues. For example, we minimize the attraction if we unsure the utility of notification, and we control the suggestions frequency. Please check our paper for more strategies. We also find some issues with current design that it's very hard to distinguish fine-grained user interests. For example, we utilize the gaze to predict users' potential interest, but when two users look at the information board in the museum for a long time, they're just curious about the background information but have no intention to document this moment. So the future algorithm should distinguish these two kinds of interest by analyzing more multimodal signals like EDA and also analyze users' past interest history. The next point is how can we utilize the large language model to enhance users' in-context writing experience. Through our comparative study, we found that simply using large language model with voice transcription from the phones results in more hallucinations and higher editing time. This is because users can only provide very limited voice transcription to the LLM in one shot, but a longer output is requested. In contrast, PANDALens utilizes bite-sized interaction with multimodal information provided during users' travel. Instead of interacting with LLM in one shot after travel, it breaks the writing task into smaller and manageable ones during users' travel. This helps LLM have a better contextual understanding from the information connected from the moment capturing, and it can correct the potential mistakes through Q&As. So, it achieves more precise and detailed narratives in the end with this rich multimodal context information provided during users' travel. Lastly, we envision PANDALens can not only be utilized in users' daily activities like travel, but also serve as professional work assistants. It can become a conference assistant for users to help them easily capture important moments with their attend seminars or socialize with others. It can also help journalists to facilitate interviews and generate a news report using the description of the environment and the interviewee's answers. We have more interesting insights that I want to share with you, and please check our paper for more details. Now, we also open sourced our project at GitHub and hope the community can contribute to this project to help users to document different information in our different daily activities. Thank you.